Yeah. So if this is about Jimmy Kimmel, I think people, or just about the free speech in general, so we don't focus on this late night comedian. I think the people that have been getting fired over their comments are not victims of, assaults on free speech, because like Hanson made, I think Hanson's not here anymore. Free speech is a right granted, or not even granted, it's protected by the government, so that no government actions are able to stop you from speaking your mind freely and open to the public. You're not going to be going to jail because you said something that your governor doesn't want you to say. But that doesn't change the fact that inflammatory speech or inflammatory remarks made in public can get people to, disassociate from you. And that's just a natural result. Like if the morning after 9/11, someone was making 9/11 jokes and they got fired, no one would be feeling bad for them. Bill Maher actually did that before he had his current night show. I think he had another TV show, and he said something really stupid. He said the people who drove the planes into the World Trade Center had balls and they had courage, essentially, and he got axed because of that.
Politically incorrect.
What did you say?
Politically Incorrect was the name of his show.
Yeah, politically incorrect, yeah. And he made a politically incorrect statement, which was very, it just wasn't a smart thing to say. You don't say that after 3,000 Americans got killed. So, and I don't think anybody felt bad for him, because that was just a dumb thing to say. Likewise here, if you see someone get shot in public, a politically motivated assassination, and then you're celebrating, you have no reason to be shocked when people want nothing to do with you. So that's just the reality of the situation.
Thank you, though. Appreciate your share. Howard, how you doing, Howard?
Hey, JB, Sloan, and Nye. Always good to see you guys. Just a couple of quick comments, and I'm not at all trying to get too technical, but I definitely, and I guess Hanson is gone, but he was, his point I felt was, he was making a point on employment, but the truth is, employment laws vary from state to state, and there are states that's right to work states, and there's other states that are not. There's also protected classes, could be based on age as an example. And then there's also, certain parts of employment are protected by union laws too that have been collectively bargained. So each situation is going to be different. And JB, just a minor technicality, Kimmel has not been fired. He's just been pulled off the air. And most likely he's still getting paid, but they made a decision to just not air and support that show anymore. And I think it was Alpha Glam. Your point's also really well taken that there is a potential acquisition merger that ABC's involved with, and it's not, and it is quite possible the FCC is putting their thumb on the scale. I'm not questioning that, but my understanding is it was also a group of affiliate stations that had the possibility of jeopardizing that deal, that they are so anti-Jimmy Kimmel that they were threatening that whole deal would fall apart. So you could see there's a lot of different dimensions to this issue. And from my perspective, I could see someone in top brass, certainly like Bob Iger at Disney, make a decision and say, hey, I've got a responsibility to my shareholders and board with all this noise. I don't want this deal to break up. Therefore, here's the decision I'm making. And it's not to say that there hasn't been influence exerted by the FCC, but it may not be as simple as the FCC told them to do something and they're doing it. I guess those are just facts we're going to have to try to learn. and JBL and my Sky live there.
Thank you. Hold on, Vespa. Let me say hello to Pierre, and then I'll come back to you. Pierre, how you doing?
Hi, JB. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. The mic is yours.
Okay, I'll try not to be long-winded, so I'll try to keep it relatively short. I'm just trying to see if I can look at the title here. Yeah, so with this whole thing with Kim, with oh God, I'm losing my voice here this morning. I'm already starting off. I'll just say this: a lot of the discussion about the First Amendment, free speech, and so forth. I think the biggest problem right now is the overlap of media. And here's what I mean by this: it's to what Dopin talked about. The idea of protecting free speech is that no government action on whoever is giving that speech shouldn't be that person that goes to jail. But we have elements of that just coming into it. The fact that the FCC came down and threatened the licenses, effectively somewhere on a platform, threatened the licenses of ABC. That's a bigger deal than what's happened in the past with television. There's been instances where if somebody was on a TV show and stations didn't want to broadcast, go back and look at the history of Star Trek when they had that kiss between Captain Kirk and Uhura. There were stations that didn't even want to show that show. In those days, you didn't have such a overlap of power between FCC and a president that's really, really trying to break protocol in a lot of different areas of our government. That's a big, big problem. And then on the top of that, you have media where, and I'm not blaming one person or the other, or one entity or the other, but it's just the fact that if you get blocked or get knocked off of a media platform, something as large as ABC, which is owned by Disney, and that type of thing, that cuts you off from a lot of things. If you don't know what I mean, go look up Elizabeth Warren on YouTube Finance, on Yahoo Finance. There's a YouTube video where she talks about Skydance not only going after connecting with Paramount, but now going after Warner Brothers. So now you have this big media conglomerate that can actually knock somebody off. So I say all this to say, I think the challenge that we have right now is that there's more. We've gone from a handgun to something like a AK-47 in terms of the types of power and types of range that people can experience in terms of trying to where there's free speech can be questioned. I think we should be worried about that. I think as a nation, we really, really should be worried about
Let me ask you a question, Pierre. Let me ask you a question, Pierre.
Go ahead, baby.
Do you feel that this is government overreach?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. It's something different when we've had comedians, be on the edge. That's, in fact, to be honest, that's almost the definition of comedy these days. You are making comments, but we've never seen. It's gone from making comments to, and there was a period where people had to apologize for certain things and that type of stuff. But part of that apology came from jokes that were no longer just on maybe limited to a VCR or a location. You now have jokes and stuff that's spread online and people can respond to it. And now you have a president where he embodies a lot of these different elements. And I think that makes it very difficult to have these sort of free speech moments where you feel like you can say something without having a response to it. So yeah, I to your question, my short answer is yeah, I think there's overreach here.
Thank you very much, Pierre. I appreciate you.
Thanks for letting me speak, JB.
Of course, you're always welcome in. Please cash in your pink ticket. Vespa, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, how these free speech absolutists are suddenly in favor of hate speech and cancel culture, the things they've demonized. That's why you can say that they're attacking the First Amendment, which protects, it includes hate, quote unquote, hate speech, all I've seen the people say is they didn't think he was a good guy. I don't see them inciting violence or anything like that, like the right has done. They're out there saying this is civil war, this is war, you know, all these accounts saying the shooter was trans and everything.
Vesper, give me two examples of the right call for violence.
It's all over like libs of TikTok, you know, they jumped all over that. All these accounts on X and stuff like that. But you know, Trump is out there politicizing it and saying, "Oh, it's the radical leftist," you know. When we know that it was a Groyper, Nick Fuentes fan, right? We know that now.
No, we don't know that. Because all of that, did you not watch the press conference? What do you?
Oh, you mean the fake transcript they released?
Oh, here we go. Now it's fake. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it is.
So what you're saying is
100%
real,
fake.
though. What the authorities are saying is fake, and what you're saying is real.
It's
so
obviously fake.
All right, cool. See, this is a prime example of people spinning their own narratives because it plays in their favor. Like, what are you doing here, y'all?
You think they're being forthcoming with the Epstein files?
I don't know. Are you being forthcoming?
You think we have an honest government with Trump, who's a
I
historian?
don't know you from a can of paint. Why should I trust anything that you say?
I'm talking about the Trump administration, like lying consistently.
And you're not lying?
No, I'm not lying.
How am I to know that you're not lying?
I'm telling you, it looks obviously fake.
Because you give me your word?
I'm just telling you my impression. You can take it for what it's worth.
Exactly. So, what if I say your word don't mean spit, and what you're saying is
You're taking statements from the Trump administration as
you literally just said he was a gross.
as gospel truth?
What you're saying is gospel truth, right?
No, I'm just saying there's reasonable reason to doubt it. There's a good reason to doubt it.
People think their words are more valuable than anybody else because they're saying, like, yo, what the hell are we doing right here, y'all?
I'm talking about evidence.
You don't have any evidence.
I don't have evidence that the Trump administration lies repeatedly.
JB just asked you for 3 examples, and you couldn't even give 3.
It's all over the social media. People calling for calling for violence, calling for war against the left, civil war.
You're not the people who was literally cheering that Donald Trump got shot.
Cheering when Trump got shot.
I think y'all missing that no matter how you put the English language, it will not trump authority.
Vesper, so you're saying that we can't trust the multitudes of evidence that this guy was clearly left-wing, pro-trans, all that stuff, alphabet.
No. Being pro-trans doesn't make you left-wing.
Okay, so he said Charlie.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
They're literally.
Okay, bro, hold up. He said that Charlie Kirk was spreading hate, and his parents said that he was going in a more left-wing direction in the last year or so. So, what do you think that makes him? You think that makes him
because he's pro-LGBT or something, right?
Yeah,
or pro-trans. That's why they said that.
He said Charlie Kirk was hateful.
Yeah, towards trans people, particularly.
Okay, so do you think that makes him a Groyper?
So Nick Fuentes is a bisexual or gay, and he has trans lovers and stuff.
Man, get out of here.
Get out of here, bro. What are you
What the fuck are we doing, man? This dude.
He's literally gone to had meals with femboys.
All right, do you think Groypers are pro-trans? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. You just don't know what you're talking about.
It's within their group. They're pro-trans.
Okay, all right, cool. So, do you think Groypers would make a meme saying, "Hey, fascist catch," and then assassinate a right-winger for being a quote-unquote fascist?
Yeah, that's a reference from the game that they play, Helldivers 2.
I think you're just in denial.
They literally use games like that to recruit young people.
So you think Groypers are pro-trans and they are opposed to fascism?
Like the Bella Ciao Ciao thing is an anti-fascist song, but they use it ironically in the game.
Okay, so what do you think is more likely? A pro-trans person hates Charlie Kirk for spreading hate and has been framed as being more left in the last year and calls Charlie Kirk a fascist and chants an anti-fascist and promotes an anti-fascist chant on a bullet to shoot him. Do you think he's more likely left-wing radical or a Groyper?
He's a Groyper. Trump calls leftists fascists. That makes no sense either.
I think you're just delusional.
You haven't heard Trump call the left fascists?
I think you're delusional.
Have you not heard?
You're gonna find out that I'm right.
Like, what are we saying? What do you think the word Antifa stands for? What do you think that stands for?
He's not Antifa.
What do you think Antifa stands for? That is the
Anti-fascist.
Okay, cool. You haven't been seeing Antifa on the right, have you?
He's not Antifa. I mean,
y'all see what's happening here?
It's talking. You're talking.
You're saying he called Charlie Kirk a fascist. Where did he call him that?
He called him a fascist.
In the transcript, that's fake. In the fake transcript,
the bullet said, "Hey, fascist, catch."
Wait, let me ask you a question. Why do you think the transcripts are fake? Well, give me evidence, not just a guess.
Lots of reasons. Like, it's basically incriminating himself. He's saying, I left the gun here, and saying like, oh, they caught the wrong guy, you know? It wasn't that guy, was that second guy. How would he even know about that in the heat of things? Who the media, like, who they at least capture. There's a lot of weird stuff in it.
So you think he's being set up?
He had been out of
Don't just hold on 1 second.
They're desperate to control the narrative in order to, like, win the
wait.
midterm elections and stuff.
Do you think he was set up?
Who set up?
The shooter.
No, he did it on his own.
Okay. But do you think there's some kind of government conspiracy to convict him?
No, I mean, he did the thing, but he thought he was, like, trying to protect Trent.
All right, listen, I had a movie, dude. I mean, I'm all about civil discourse, civil dialogue, but I have no idea what you're talking about, A. B, you make no sense. You see, this is the thing that blows my mind with both sides. You guys dig in your heels, and that's all that matters is your side. You know, and that's to some of you guys on the stage right now. It's like nobody wants to have an objective conversation. It's just like, that's it. I'm a Democrat, so this is the way it works. Oh, that's it. I'm MAGA, Pierre, and that's it. Get Pierre, you want to chime in?
I just want to say I sort of get what the gentleman was trying to get at in some ways. There's still pieces of this narrative that even from what's being, I don't think conspiracy necessarily. I just think there's things that just aren't making a lot of sense in some ways. If he was radicalized, they're saying that he was radicalized, for example. They're mentioning Discord and Reddit. Don't get me wrong. If people, there are, I'm not a dark web expert necessarily, but those platforms, you need some certain level of engagement to get to that. And I'm not sure if those are really the best ones necessarily. And you have to also remember, Trump came out at the very beginning and said, okay, this is, we're going to get, there's language that was publicized that said we're going to get this thing, these leftists, basically. And I think what's happening is that I think instead of looking at pieces of what this young man, Tyler, for Tyler, I think there's this sort of, I'm not going to say they're tangential, they're still important because it comes from his family and from his partner, but Tyler also has reportedly has been resisting a little bit, and I think there's still pieces to the puzzle of the motive that I think that still needs to be worked out. And I think the gentleman who was up here, I think that's really kind of what he was trying to get to.
What I think he was trying to get to Pierre respectfully was that his side couldn't have possibly done it. That's what it sounded like to me.
I hear you, but I didn't get that. But that's my bias.
I'll say this. If this kid was radicalized on Discord, boy, that's not good because you got this racist piece of shit Pepe who has 150,000 followers on Discord. And I could see him being radicalized and doing something stupid.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. I just think it's the timeline also felt a little short to me. There's something else here, but I'm one of those people that usually I will sit and listen to see what else comes out as well. It's because for me, politics is something that you sort of thread the needle and kind of, everyone has some people are left, right, what have you, but they're left and right. They're liberal, conservative for a specific, topic or area or something of interest. And I'm not quite getting that piece of it from the story, at least not yet. At least this line.
Thank you, Pierre. So let me answer your question, Vesper. You see my co-host here, Miss NY?
Yeah.
She's very patient. She'll go, if you tell her you have evidence that the Easter bunnies exist, she'll go down that rabbit hole with you. I, on the other hand, have very little patience. So I'm just being honest with you. I didn't understand anything you were saying, and it just sounded like you were digging in your heels and you don't want to hear the other side. But if I offended you, I apologize.
I mean, if I don't have the evidence off the top of my head, doesn't mean I don't have, doesn't exist, you know? I don't have memorized everyone who said everything on X, but I've got a screenshot of it for sure.
Certainty, hold on, investment. Certainty, go ahead.
Hey, quick question. So, you seem like a real reasonable individual to me. For the 5 years we've been discussing things on this app. I hear you say a lot that, you're not into going down the rabbit hole and you're not into conspiracy theories. So I have a question for you. Have you heard of MK Ultra before?
Yes, and I don't believe in Sasquatch, but go ahead.
Okay. The reason I asked you if you've heard of MK Ultra, I'm not going to sit here and quiz you on what it is. I'm sure if you've heard of it, you know what it is. My last question to you is, do you think it's possible that when certain situations occur, our government, which has documented, which it has been documented in multiple operations to use MK Ultra to neutralize threats of human intelligence or things of that nature, do you think that those events possibly happen right in front of our eyes?
Probably every day, we don't even realize it.
I agree. Okay.
That's as far as down the rabbit hole I go. Guys are going to go popcorn style. This is a one mic policy. Just let the person finish, and then you can jump in. Okay, sir.
No, I was going to say same here. Like, for me, I just, I feel like in the last decade, people have been throwing out that conspiracy theory stuff, and it really keeps people from really, doing the research. And for me, if I can do the research and connect the dots, I can literally put together the dots. It's not a theory anymore, But if I can't connect, for instance, Antarctica is a block of ice, right? I have no proof other than a few operations and the Antarctic treaty, what the government tells us, of anything else. So anything else I say about Antarctica is a damn theory. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something, man. Here's the conspiracies I look into. The latest one is, where are those Epstein files? Why don't they release them?
Okay, wake that up, honey.
Why don't they release those unredacted in its entirety so we can see what's really going on? But did you notice, since that firestorm of Epstein files, all these other things have had, Charlie Kirk's been murdered, the young lady in Charlotte was murdered on I believe it was a train, all these deflections off. Nobody talks about Epstein anymore. Why is that? There's one conspiracy certainty we can talk about. Here's another one. John F. Kennedy was killed by the government. I have no doubt in my mind. I don't have evidence. You know why? Because they don't release the evidence. I'm just going on what I've seen and the little dots I've put together. But there's my two conspiracies.
I mean, a lot of people don't want JFK. When it comes to the Epstein's files, a lot of people do not want the victims' names out there. But I can say, I forget his name. Was it Massey or something? But one of them went on who the fuck? Well, they did something yesterday or the day before where they were calling out high-profile people that was in the Epstein file. He said it was a magician, a royal prince. It was two businessmen.
Oh, at the Capitol, yeah, they had that.
Y'all remember that?
Yeah, with Patel.
Yeah, he was saying that, and he went out here and he didn't say their names, but he gave you the profile of some high-profile people that were or are actively involved in the Epstein shit.
Well, Adrian, all you gotta do is Google Epstein flight logs, and you'll see who was on the Lolita Express, right? You got the Clinton, you got Trump, you got Tom Hanks, you got what's the comedian that retired but he came back? Was it Dave Chappelle?
DK?
No, not Dave Chappelle. Who was in Rush Hour?
Oh, Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker was on there. Kevin Spacey was on there. Right? So all you gotta do is go right now, Google the flight logs of the Epstein Lolita Express, and you'll see all the famous names you want.
You know, Trump is currently at Windsor Palace right now with the king. And, you know, it's very interesting. They were talking about it on MSNBC last night about how there was a protest as soon as he arrived yesterday where somebody had a projector of the letter that he gave Epstein for his birthday, and they put it up on one of the buildings at Windsor while he was there sleeping last night. And then also, like, they were talking about how, you know, Prince Andrew, he's not allowed I guess like their version of a punishment to him for the whole Epstein thing, his involvement was to sit him down from a role that he was already sitting down on. I don't know like what that was about, but he also cannot participate in dinners or any type of meetings when they have the royal family meetings at the castle. But they were saying how it's interesting that you won't allow Andrew to be there, and now you won't allow the London, I forget his name, the guy that's like the liaison between the UK and the US.
He got fired.
Yeah, he got fired, but yet you're letting Trump, who Epstein said had been his close friend for 10 years, sit at the table with the king.
Well,
that was wild.
Well, I mean, if we're going to hold Trump to that standard, all right, cool. How about we hold King Charles to that same standard? Him and his close relationship with Jimmy Savile.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like, we can't hold one person to a certain set of standards while letting the others on the other side of the table skate. Because if they're going to throw up that letter of him to Epstein, then let's highlight the unusual relationship or the unsavory relationship of King Charles and Jimmy Savile.
But I think that's the irony that his own brother was involved with Epstein as well. That was the point. Because you literally have isolated your brother as a result of this politically and, you know, familially. And now, but you still have Trump sitting at your table who has also been involved with Epstein. It's just, that's the thing that people are pointing out. So no one's saying that Trump is alone. We're saying that it's just ironic that it's not what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander, clearly.
Well, I'll say
there's
this.
no way we're gonna ever be able to use elementary vocabulary to attack authority.
I can't hear that anymore tonight. Thank you. But I'll say this: two of the people that were the spearheads of this, right? Jeffrey Epstein hung himself in a jail, which in that prison, that whole facility is nearly impossible to do, but he did it, right? And Virginia Giuffre, the biggest spokeswoman for victims, who cashed in, I think it was close to $30 million, she wound up suiciding herself too. Coincidence? Nah, you there, Nye? Nye?
No, I'm here.
I was wondering if you fell asleep on me. We were talking about Epstein.
Did you guys see the stuff from today with Kash Patel going to a hearing and getting grilled?
I thought that was yesterday.
Or was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday, because I remember the segment with him and Booker going back and forth.
Maybe it's multi-day hearing. I don't know.
Well, Nye, Vesper, please meet up. Thank you. Nye, you there?
Yes.
It's been another great room. I'm out of here like Batman's underwear.
It's really been a terrible room.
I'm sorry that we had disagreement today.
Obviously, it's a waste of time.
It was something on social media.
No longer said it, so.
Oh.
She said that I saw it on TikTok. That's what I saw it on. But I also said I can't confirm or deny it. But I heard that. I saw that on TikTok.
Niggas never got the information. Let me look it up.
I
heard something about. They said something about that.
Shirley down the street.
Then you look it up, and
that
it be a Sam's.
her son has said that if she turned in her 13,
you be all excited, then you go, and they be like,
then you can get $1,000. That's what Shirley down the street.
Oh, well, I didn't know.
Her son said,
"What the fuck did you say so?"
Maybe they looked wrong and it was 110. They missed it. They added a zero.
Shirley said it. Shirley said her son.
Shirley, she's right. Dude, I've got a freaking 6, 8, 11, 12, and 14 that I'm be turning in. That way I can get a little bit off my next phone. And an iPad Air.
I don't see anything else about it, bro.
Must have been a poo-poo.
Carry a pope.
Yeah.
I don't know what Starlink. What is this thing going on with the iPhone 13 Pro Max to be specific? They say the iPhone 13 Pro Max is the last iPhone that doesn't have a Starlink on it. I don't know what Starlink is. I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max. So when I heard about this, my ears was like, oh, well, 13 Pro Max is the best iPhone out? You don't say. I've been said to myself that I was going to take this iPhone to the grave with me. I'm like, I'm finna use this phone and have this phone until it don't cut on no more. And when it don't cut on no more, I'm taking it to Apple or whoever, and I'm gonna tell them to do something and try to fix it to get them to turn it back on. I'm not getting rid of my phone. I only said to myself I wasn't gonna get rid of it because it's been paid off for so long. But now, I'm definitely not gonna get rid of it. They offering 2 bands. I think they offering like 2 bands for these iPhone 13s. And I'm like, yeah. I don't know. My plan was to get another phone, but keep my phone because I want a phone specifically for content and then a phone, for phone calls, emails, and all the other stuff and whatnot. Text messages and all that. They really think they slick.
Moses believes that's incorrect, number one. Number two, the Old Testament of the Bible is very clear. Daniel 9, there will be an end to sacrifice, right? Daniel 9 literally predicts this. Daniel 9.
Can you get to the part where you said the Jews who have a religion are the synagogue of Satan? Can you get to that?
This will all come back down to this, I assure you. I'm not deviating from the topic. Daniel 9 tells them that when the Messiah comes and that the Messiah will die before the second temple is destroyed, there will be an end to sacrifice. Mysteriously, there seems to be only one person that fits that characteristic. But even so, let's say Jesus is the Messiah. Well, he had to have come before the year 70 AD, which is before the second temple was destroyed, and there should be an end of sacrifice after that. I still see rabbinic Jews running around trying to do their weird sacrificial rituals to cope. Why? Because like Dr. Responsible said, their religion is over. Once the Messiah comes, their religion is over. Once the second temple is destroyed, there is no more sacrifice. They're trying to cope with the fact that they know who exactly their Messiah is, but they don't want to acknowledge that. Now, What Moses?
Can I add?
No, I'm not done. What Moses? Yeah, I'm not done, dude. What Moses?
All right, I'm gonna go next.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, motherfucker. Then what the fuck?
What Moses practiced and what what Moses practiced and what the prophets practiced is what we call Second Temple Judaism. Now, what you don't seem to understand is that there were many strands of Second Temple Judaism. There is only one correct strand of Second Temple Judaism, which acknowledges that which I said earlier, that the Messiah would die for the sins of all of humankind, Isaiah 53, before the Second Temple is destroyed, and that there will be an end to sacrifice. That strand of Second Temple Judaism, that is the only correct strand, is Christianity. All the other ones are various copes and various heresies that can't wrestle with this idea that the guy that they killed is who their Messiah was.
Can I ask you a question, dog? Like, because you said Christianity as though.
I can just quickly finish this. You can ask.
All right, bro. All right, my bad. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, he don't like that, so
I just need to finish.
He's almost done, and then you guys can ask us if you've ever heard this before.
Exactly. Now, the cope that the worst of these strands made, i.e. the Pharisees and the Sadducees, is to create what we call today Second Temple Judaism. Now, what does this have to do with why the synagogue of Satan is in fact all rabbinic Jews and not just the Pharisees and Sadducees of today? God does not judge people based on lineage. God does not judge people just on being born one which way or another. God judges people based on beliefs. Now, God, like you mentioned, called the Pharisees and the Sadducees of his day the synagogue of Satan, those who claim that they are Jews, but they are not, for they do lie. Which people today believes in the exact same things, the exact same ideologies, and in fact takes their entire religion. I like how when we're being academic, people don't like to listen, and takes their whole religious identity and worldview exactly from the Pharisees and Sadducees of the Pharisees and Sadducees in Jesus Christ's day. Those people today are known as rabbinic Jews. Everything that they talk about.
Only, are you done, Pastor? Let's make sure you're done.
I'm not done. Everything that rabbinic Jews.
Let's make sure that. Wait, don't interrupt him, Pastor. How much time would you say? How much time would you say you need?
Only 5 seconds.
Wait,
5 minutes?
you need 5 minutes? No, that's crazy.
I said 5 seconds. You're not listening. Problem.
No. Okay. So is it 5 seconds? You said.
I said 5 seconds.
Yo, let that nigga.
Okay. No, but like, don't do too much. I hear you, bro. He's talking, but we want to be fair.
Yeah. So let him finish. Bro,
he's going for a while.
I literally said.
I mean, he's been going for a minute, bro. I know, but like,
keep packing y'all niggas.
Let him. He's not cooking at all.
Let him go. He just saying.
Y'all niggas in the fucking.
It's all good. It's all good. He opening up the conversation.
In the fucking backwoods.
No. I need him to say this.
This is what happens when anti.
I need him to say this. It's cool. Luca.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. Let him finish. Y'all.
Don't let him.
It's all right.
Stop you from your mission.
To finish off, everything that the Pharisees and Sadducees believed and codified as a religion are found in one religion today, and that religion is called Rabbinic Judaism. Thus, if the Pharisees and Sadducees are the synagogue of Satan, Rabbinic Jews are.
Mic drop. Yeah,
all right. So
niggas don't got shit to say now. Where you at, Luca? Bitch.
I was about to ask a question, but you started.
No. Go ahead. Ask your question, because I want to add on to what he was saying. But go ahead.
You may have. I was gonna come from a place of criticism. I feel like you may come from a place of like constructive building. Am I wrong, Kendall? Or
no? Yeah, you. Well, then let me go. All right.
So what people don't
understand about
the
Second Temple and like the Talmud, is actually origins. So when the Second Temple fell, we go to the people of Babylon, where the Jews actually congregated and actually put that together. Its origin is not of the Levant. And so, a lot of what actually was saying was showing that this is of false origin, this Talmud, which a lot of people will label it the synagogue of Satan. And now you can, like, you know, skull and all of that stuff and stuff like that, and that's cool. But if we look at the scribes of that time, who actually was pushing for the Romans to destroy the second temple, so that they gain power, you know, that's a whole nother thing. Remember, a lot of this stuff was politics too back in the days. And, you know, there were certain people who wanted to see a certain people out of the way so they could gain power and actually use some of these constructs, which Jesus actually preached about how corrupt the temple was, and that corruption only moved. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it sounds like you were about to finish. I'm gonna let you.
No, I'll finish. The kind of like properly, I just want to say the properly kind of assess what people looked at and what the laws looked at the time for like the Israelites. You would go to the people who were preaching before the downfall. So you would look at Peter and the things that he said, and, you know, the Corinthians that he was talking to.
I wasn't putting the skull face.
No, but I mean, you can't. What you was saying?
Yo, shout out to Corinth.
I was putting the skull face because I said
Corinth.
What you said. So
no,
the Corinthians.
In like 10 seconds. What?
People made a valid
say?
My bad. Go ahead, bro.
The city of prostitutes.
Sorry, I just want to wrap it up. So in total, and I've never talked to this other gentleman before. I've heard his voice a few times, but we're not like in concert with one another. But what I've learned, as coming from someone who used to be a Protestant person that believed that everything I did had to protect the Jews and the state of Israel, what I've learned is that, in particular, modern day Judaism is not the same thing as Moses practiced it or that the Hebrews practiced for all of the time period between them with the Bible. It's not the same thing.
We're on one accord with that.
Okay. So after Jesus came and fulfilled many prophecies, you don't even have to believe that he was the true Messiah, but he did a good enough job to convince us, good enough people that he was, that after that happened, the leadership, not Jewish people, I'm not saying Jewish people are evil or anything like that, but the leadership had to come up with some way in which they could still hold their community together. In fact, in some ways, it might have actually been well-intentioned to hold this community of people together, right? But they had to do something. And what I'm saying is that modern day Judaism, Talmudic Judaism, rabbinical Judaism, is in effect 100% a coping mechanism for killing the Messiah, Jesus Christ, and a way to keep this group of ethnically similar people together under the leadership of the same people who have always led it, which is the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the upper level intellectual leadership of the Jewish/Hebrew community. And so they came up with what we call Judaism, where they don't sacrifice, they don't practice all of the laws of the covenant that they originally were given under Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They came up with new ways. They said, you know what? You know, God is being so silly. We don't need to sacrifice with the blood of an animal the way he taught us. We're going to do some like prayer beads. We're going to come up with some other ways. Like instead of that, we're going to give money to poor people. We're going to make some prayer beads. We're going to come up with another book that we're going to go through, like a little diary. And all of it together is a coping mechanism. And I'll shut up.
To add to what Dr. Responsible said, if you read the Torah, and this is the issue a lot of people make, The basis of Christianity is the Old Testament. There's nothing we do in the New Testament, just a fulfillment of that which was revealed in the Old Testament. But if you read the Torah, you'll understand that the center of true Judaism, i.e. what Moses and the other prophets practiced, right, was the temple. Without the temple, there is no Judaism. Now, like I said, the prophet Daniel predicts, he prophesies that there will be an end to sacrifice, right? And this will happen when the Messiah comes. The Romans, as God willed it, were very thorough in their destruction of the temple. What did they do? Not only did they destroy the temple, but they also burned the lineages of the priests, right? Now, why is this relevant? The priests must come from the Levites, specifically the Cohenitic Aaronic line, specifically from the line of the Zadokites, right, who were loyal to David. The Romans made sure to burn all those lineages, root and stem, so that the Judeans would have absolutely no idea who could actually be a priest. And they know this till this day. You have all these Jews running around saying, I'm a Cohen, I'm a Cohen, I'm a Cohen. Okay, show me the proof. Where's the proof that actually connects you back to these people? They can't show it because they have absolutely no idea, because the Romans, when they destroyed the Second Temple, made sure that they were going to do so in a way that they would never be able to worship again. And that's why they went and burned the lineages down, right? But the Jews, still, like Dr. Responsible said, they're looking for a way of like, oh no, but we have this thing, we have that thing. So their whole religion is a cope. And the biggest evidence of it being a cope is that, you know that phrase, 50 Jews, 51 different opinions, right? What doctrine does Rabbinic Judaism have? What dogma does it have? What belief does it have? What is the central message of Judaism? No one knows. You can be pro-gay, you can be pro-communist, you can believe Gentiles are beneath you, you can believe you can scam anyone you want. Hell, you can be a whole freaking atheist and not even believe that God exists.
Well, that was the argument. That was the argument, Pastor, back in the day. That was the age-old argument that you could be all of these things. That's bound by law. But so here's the thing. Hold on. Let me just say this. Here's the thing. Well, go ahead, because you let them know.
You can believe in literally whatever you want and call yourself a Jew, except the one thing. You cannot believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. You can be a whatever Jew as long as you are not a Christian, will be considered a Jew. The only central doctrine of that religion is to reject Jesus as your Messiah. Judaism weirdly makes Jesus as central of a figure in their religion as Christianity does, except it's the opposite. The Christian says Jesus is his God. The Jew says believe in anything but that Jesus is your God. That's Judaism in a nutshell.
And this is why I say it was created solely, 100%, actually, I would say 85% for two things. One, as a way to cope with the fact that they killed their own Messiah. And number two, to a lesser extent, to make sure that the people that were in power, which are the Pharisees and Sadducees and other intellectuals, could keep their ethnic group together, which they've done successfully. But that's the whole religion. This is the only religion where you can be an atheist and be part of it. It's insane. It's insanity.
My pain is constant and sharp, and I do not hope for a better world for anyone. In fact,
and that is why it is the most satanic religion.
Yeah, it actually was a countermeasure to the way that the beliefs were being transitioned at the time, because you could look at people like Peter, who was telling the Galileans to also live by the code too, because not the Galileans, the Gentiles. He was telling the Gentiles, like, hey, you have to abide by the law too. And in this modern day reference, I'm going to look at it as like, hey, I'm telling Rabbi here, how to use nigga and about the word nigga. Now, as we know, contextually about the word nigga, that it's only applied and used by a certain group of people. But if I go and get to telling, white people and all of that shit about the context, the history, and the laws around how to use nigga, hey, don't use the ER, use that. You know what I'm saying? Like, carry the 1, not the 2 over the 3 and shit, get 13 minus all of that. Point is, they looked at these other people like, what the hell are y'all doing? This is where the separation kind of began. So the Talmud was put together to be like, hey, no, those are those set of Jews that are telling these other people how to live like Jews. We're going to actually use our own laws that we learn from the religion and keep this practice in-house now. These other people can't practice that. Y'all can't say nigga. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't be out here telling these people that they're abiding by a cultural rule that they're not a part of. To me, it looks the same thing.
Historically, and it tracks historically. And I'm not trying to bash on the Jewish people, man. I'm really not. It's just once you realize what this is, it's hard to just shut up and go along with the program. But historically, this is all of the things that the Hebrew people have gotten into trouble for in the past. They are a proud people. The Bible describes them as. They are very much mixed with a huge amount of hubris, where they think that they can figure it out. They will find a way that's better than God. He sends them up to the mountain to get the 10 Commandments. By the time he comes back, they're making a calf. He tells them not to practice false idols. By the time another 30 years goes by, they're making idols out of Asher poles and giving their children to the Lord Baal. Like, this is
it's literature. That's the point.
Over again
to teach you.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but when you think about what we're saying about rabbinical Judaism, it completely tracks. This is a people, many of whom are incapable of sitting back and saying, "Yes, Lord, the one who has given us everything, who has defeated our enemies, who has taken us through hunger and famine and removed us from Egypt. We trust what you're going to do." A large portion of those people, for whatever reason, are wholly incapable of doing that.
I supplicate.
And that's why they suffer.
I supplicate as we speak.
Right.
And that is why
thank you.
Rabbinic Judaism is the most satanic religion in the world from a Christian perspective, and they're called the children of Satan. From a Christian perspective, God is all good. So all things that are of God, including religion and his message, are good. What is sin? Sin is anything that goes against God. Who is the author of sin? Satan, which in Hebrew means the adversary. The adversary of whom? The adversary of God. Now, considering all that, what is more satanic or adversarial to God, shall we say, than a religion that says you can do whatever you want, be whatever you want to be, like whatever you like, believe whatever you want, except that your God is your God. There is literally nothing more satanic than that. Do whatever, be whatever, act however, as long as you prostrate to anything but God is. That is the definition of Satanism, and that is what...
Which religion claims that?
Rabbinic Judaism is that.
It says that you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
So, rules are like the 10 Commandments, that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Can be, yes,
Being an atheist.
So wait. So what are the points of the 10 Commandments?
That's the point. In Rabbinic Judaism, the only rule that you actually can't break is that you can't believe in the Lord Jesus Christ.
So Rabbinic Judaism?
Dude, what do you want?
You. Is that what you want to hear?
Don't
cool.
So, anyways, so you're saying that rabbinic Judaism says, look, just believe in God and then everything else is all good?
No, I'm saying it says the complete opposite. Believe in anyone but Jesus, and everything else is all.
Believe in anything else?
Yeah.
But Jesus.
Yup.
Yo, who just moved me? What the fuck?
I don't know, but you know what I'm gonna do? This way. There you go. Thank you.
Damn, niggas hating on Kendall? That's crazy.
I don't even know. What is a rabbinic Jew? What's the difference between that and a real Jew? Or a standard Jew?
The only real Jew is the Christian one. The one who follows the Messiah. If you follow the Jewish Messiah, then you are a Christian.
So rabbinic, how do you spell it?
RABBINIC. You would just call them colloquially as Jews today. But as I'm a believing Christian, I don't want to do an insult to the prophets. So I call them rabbinic Jew.
Bro, this guy's got LED lights all around his desk.
No, I have a simple lamp.
He's got a simple lamp.
A lantern. Fuck you talking about? Anyway, I grew up around these guys, Orthodox, all them motherfuckers and shit like that. So I'm very familiar at what they believe in and the egregious nature of how they contradict even their own culture. Especially when you start bringing in the Kabbalah. And so like those Jews, even then, they can, kind of grift between cultures, seemingly. If you understand the Talmud and the Kabbalah and its esoteric nature, it relates back to, the Old Testament and kind of like the early Christians in its passages.
So I'm looking this up on ChatGPT. It says,
my pain is
claim
constant
anything.
and I do not hope for a better
Okay, it
world
says,
for
okay.
anyone.
Polytheism,
In fact,
idolatry, denial of the Torah's divine origin, denial of God's unity is not okay.
Are those who call themselves Jews but practice Hinduism?
But you know what it does say? It's an oversimplification. And if it's saying it's an oversimplification, that means it's kind of truthful, but just being a little exaggerative. So that's pretty interesting, actually.
The basic proof is that there are those who are Jewish that openly profess Buddhism, openly profess Hinduism. They're accepted as Jewish. They're accepted among them.
But are those like the cultural ones, or like?
Well, that's the point. There's no definition of being a Jew that exists outside the Old Testament.
So you're saying that, okay, so you hold a position that there's no such thing as a cultural Jew, they're just Jewish or they're not?
Well, I believe it. No, let me be more clear. I believe it exists, but as a human construct.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the identity of Jew has no real basis beyond the Old Testament of the Bible. Now, this is really where they became a people, or from what they trace their origins to as a people. Now, they've defiled that construct by doing basically everything contrary to what God wants. And in their new defiled definition, they've said basically the only thing you can't do with that and maintain yourself as a Jew is to believe in the Lord God, Jesus Christ.
And this is a modern view, you're saying?
I would say this old thing, but that's definitely very explicated modern in a modern sense.
Hey, Psyche, if you, or just to everybody in the room, if you could take away from like this last 1 hour of conversation, just the willingness to go look around and check this out for yourself, like that would be I would feel like I've done a great service along with the other gentlemen, because I did not know this. Somebody taught this to me and explained the simple part to me, and then I went and looked it up myself. But it is so amazing to understand what's actually going on here. When you're looking, I mean, a lot of the people I recognize in this room really try and global politics, religion,